I, Chair Hansen, call the Construction Industry Energy Board meeting of October 15th, 2024 to order at 9:33. Okay, now, Katie, would you please call the roll?
Yes. All right, representing the mechanical board, the chair, Jay Hansen.
Present virtually.
Thank you, virtual. Thomas Kyle, vice chair, representing electrical and elevator board.
Present.
In person, thank you. Representing the building code structures board, Gary Heikkinen.
Present.
Thank you, virtual. Representing the electrical and elevator board, Brian Richards.
Present.
Thank you, virtual. Representing State Department of Energy, Blake Schlide.
Here.
Thank you, virtually. Representing the mechanical board, Walter Cottle.
Virtually present.
Thank you. Representing the residential and manufactured structures board, Matthew Lutter.
I'm here.
Thank you. And representing the state plumbing board, Tyrone Bergen.
Here virtually.
Thank you. And representing residential manufactured structure board, Rich Fry is absent. And we do have quorum, Mr. Chair.
That's excellent. The boardroom looks different.
Yes, we are in a different room today.
Makes me very unsettled.
Same.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any changes that they want to see to the agenda or the order of business that we have before us today? I have none. Does anyone have anything? I see no hands. So Chair Hansen rules that the agenda and the order of business is approved. Does anybody have any changes to the draft minutes that were submitted from our last meeting? None? So Chair Hansen rules that the draft minutes of the June 11th, 2024 meeting of the Construction Industry Energy Board are final and adopted. All right. This committee is going to meet February 11th, 2025. I'm looking forward to 2025 and meeting with all of you. And so mark your calendars. Probably same about time. Okay, so I'm gonna welcome a new member to our board who's not able to be with us today, but Rich Fry is joining our board, and Rich was elected by a unanimous vote of the Residential and Manufacturer Structural Board recently, like at its last meeting, which was like yesterday. Rich is currently serving his second 4-year term as a contractor specializing in construction of residential structures on that board. So I've never worked alongside Rich, but Rich is close in my area, and Rich does good work and has been very involved in the residential marketplace. I'm looking forward to having Rich on our board. So I'd like to welcome Rich on our board with the all the hope for his positive contribution moving into the future. We're going to move on to Pierre Sadaba for, if Pierre could please address any public comments that we have. I didn't see any submitted. Pierre, what do you got?
Thank you, Chair Hansen, members of the board. For the record, my name is Pierre Sadaba. I'm policy analyst for the division. As Chair Hansen stated, we don't have any requests for public comment to the board today, but I will take a moment to hold the line open in case there's anyone online that would like to provide public comment that didn't sign up today. There is a hand raised from Elizabeth Torps. Elizabeth, you do have the floor. You have about 5 minutes for public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't even need that much time. I'm Elizabeth Torsky. I am representing Cascade Natural Gas and just pleased to listen and participate with this committee and the work that they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Welcome, Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, since you raised your hand, I'm going to put you on the spot. Could you talk a little bit about Cascade Natural Gas? What is Cascade? I've never heard of it, never come across Cascade Natural Gas, and I've been doing this for way too long.
Sure. Yeah. Cascade Natural Gas. We are a natural gas distribution utility. We have service areas in Oregon and Washington State. And I am their building code specialist. I was hired to monitor and work with the states that are promulgating building codes and to advocate for good best practices. I have any questions you have about our company, I'm happy to answer, but we're very pleased to serve our customers well in a conscientious and environmentally mindful way.
Well stated. Thank you, Elizabeth. What's the footprint of Cascade Natural Gas? What's your service area?
We have a service area in Bend, Oregon. And then we have a couple areas in the state of Washington, kind of in the Bellingham area, and then Kennewick, and a couple other smatterings. We're not the largest, but we do our best to be the best provider for our customers.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very, very much. Welcome to our committee.
Thank you.
Energy program. You're welcome. Energy program update. Mark, what do you have for us on the energy program update?
Thank you, Chair Hansen and members of the board. Mark Heizer with Building Codes Division, Energy and Mechanical Engineer. Update on items that are happening elsewhere and other items of interest within the energy program. First item would be a follow-up on the progress meeting relative to House Bill 3409, Section 7 on looking at emissions and embodied carbon in the construction world. We've had a contract going with Rocky Mountain Institute and New Buildings Institute to provide a background study that will help inform a legislative report that is due in December to the legislature to look at findings and what could be done to address carbon impacts relative to the construction industry. That is ongoing. They have submitted their first, the report has been put into the division. We are going to be incorporating that, it's sort of ongoing right now, but moving forward diligently with that work. Part of another piece of the House bill is also related to code adoption, and today, for the one item of business today relative to the REACH code. Other items that are happening, some updates are relative to there are a lot of federal grants that are out there. One is Northwest Energy Efficiency Alliance and Earth Advantage are pretty much wrapping up, getting started on a RECI, I'm not going to RECI grant for working to get energy auditors and trained to be able to do home energy ratings, and also to provide that testing ability that comes with looking at getting potentially looking at for builders who want to go above code, but also for base code to have, as we're moving forward, to have building blower door tests in remote areas, really trying to get more people out there so that people can go with that type program. That is moving forward. The other grant that is related to Oregon is ASHRAE, the ICC, National Association of State Energy Officers, have another grant working that is ongoing, and they're beginning their work on this is for code official training for commercial code relative to 90.1 2019, getting materials put together. US DOE, Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, are also going to be doing some additional work, getting good training materials and guidance published and updated. It's big task, but that was also funded, I think, somewhere around $3 or $4 million on that one for several states. A lot of that is coming to Oregon. The other item that is really moving quickly as far as the application is there under the Inflation Reduction Act, there was some formula funding available to states, and Oregon qualifies for about $6.5 million of total funding to help bring in to help Oregon promulgate our energy code. So we're looking to use a lot of that funding to develop a much better website, to provide ease of training for everyone, such that, as we know, get more information out to folks in Oregon on both the residential and commercial codes. As you know, under House Bill 3409, we're going to be continuing to improve the codes over time. That's it for the IRA portion. Also, under residential, we've posted a code concepts, some videos for residential, really to help our code official community for plan intake and inspections on 1 and 2 family dwellings, just really getting through videos to help them out. The video 1 is really the code concepts, because a lot of new employees in that field, just giving them better understanding of the residential code of the 2023 ORSC and Chapter 11. Plan intake and then inspection videos are coming soon to be put on the BCD website. Next item concerning this board is the 2024 Oregon Energy Efficiency Specialty Code. Of course, we've put that out. The rule filing looks like we're going to be, we've had some delays on this, trying to get the good tools together, especially working on a ComCheck version that will work for us here in Oregon. We've had a lot of discussions with folks at PNNL. We have the go date for the 2024 Oregon Energy Efficiency Specialty Code using 90.1 2022 will be a January 1 start date. That's the current plan. We're going to keep our fingers crossed on that one to make sure that the rule gets filed for that. And with the 6-month grace period, so July 1, 2025 will be the mandatory date on that. Again, the division will be working on training videos that and new forums to help folks with the new code. Look for that coming in early of next year. Which brings us to, with the new code, we will be looking at the kickoff of the REACH code adoption, and that we'll discuss that later. I'd be open for any questions from the board at this time.
I have a question for you, Mark, but does anyone else have questions first?
I have a question. You mentioned your inspection training videos. Are these just for energy related inspections, or is this going to be kind of across other industries like electrical, plumbing?
These would simply be energy to provide people who are, we have a lot of new building officials and helping them understand the energy code, and with all the turnover there, we're seeing need for much more comprehensive training to give people idea of concepts, how to do it, sort of what to look for when they're doing plan review, what they're going to look for in field, just to make sure for 1 and 2 family homes currently what we're looking for, just sort of additional guidance on how to look at Chapter 11 of the residential code.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Anyone else? Okay, Mark, the report that we're partnering with Rocky Mountain Institute, are we going to get to see that before we submit it to the legislature? Will this board be able to review that?
I believe it should be available. We currently are still have sort of a small contract period where there may be some adjustments, and we want to make sure that it's the final version before we put it out. So yes, but shortly, yes, that should be available. We can check with staff on when that, and we maybe get that sent out to folks. So
Please,
on the board. Okay.
please.
We'll take that under advisement and see when and how. We just want to make
I
sure we want to make sure we got the final for you, though. That's why it's not here today.
Right. The legislature is expecting this board to comment, and I'd like to read what Rocky Mountain's commenting on for us. If that's at all possible. Any other questions for Mark? Okay, we will move on to communications. None. So we will move on to appeals. There are none. We'll move on to unfinished business. And there is none, because we are such an excellent board. So we will move on to new business. So Pierre and Mark, you guys are on deck again. And Pierre, you're up. Could you please introduce the 2024 Commercial Reach Code adoption timeline?
Yes, thank you, Chair Hansen, members of the board. Again, for the record, my name is Pierre Spa, policy analyst with the division. The division's requesting the board review the division's proposed process and timeline for developing and adopting the 2024 Oregon Commercial Reach Code. The 2024 Oregon Commercial Reach Code, or ORRC, is an optional set of standards designed to increase energy efficiency. All municipalities must accept the Reach Code, and it provides an additional energy efficiency compliance path for builders, consumers, contractors, and others. The Reach Code must be technically feasible and must be more efficient than the building code. The division's goal is to have this adopted in place by April 1, 2025. The timelines included in your board packet today. Obviously, as Mark said earlier, this timeline is contingent on the adoption of the 2024 OEESC, which we are hoping to do by Jan 1, 2025. Obviously, if that date falls through, this timeline will change a bit and we'll bring it back to the board, but this is our current timeline based on what we're hoping to do with that. There's no motion needed today. Mark's here for any other technical questions. I can answer some of the rulemaking process questions. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark or Pierre?
I guess this is Thomas Kyle, Electrical Board. I was wondering about the proposal period. What kind of proposals are you expecting to receive? Or are there going to be objections to some of the things that are already in that code?
Mark, have any answer there?
So during the proposal period, we're going to be looking at potential modifications to the current code. Really is fair for commercial, of course, is a little simpler than the residential version. We are looking, it's currently for the current breach code, it's using one of the performance paths and essentially doing 10% better than code. We're trying to look to make sure we not only have improvement, but something that can align with incentive programs. So this go round, we will probably sort of have a base document with sort of based on the last one, instead of 10% better than 90.1 2019, be 10% better than 90.1 2022, but also noting that for multifamily, there is a commercial multifamily Energy Star program that is an incentive program that so that will be one of the potential paths as well, so that we can make sure that we're noting that there are above code programs that do have incentive money tied to them. So when we look at proposals that come in, we'll run through them just like we did for the residential code, look and have public hearing on that, then bring in a document to you here for the commercial board.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Thomas. Any other questions?
Looks like Gary has his hand raised.
I'm sorry, I don't get to. Oh, there you are. Sorry. Yep. Gary.
Thanks. Yeah. Hi, Gary Hakinen, board member. Mark, how formal will the review committee be, or is that going to be? Is there going to be a formal invitation to apply for the rulemaking advisory committee, or is that going to be a little bit more? If you want to be involved, show up at the meeting.
It is.
I can answer
go
that,
ahead,
Mark.
Pierre. Thank you.
Yeah, Gary, we will have a rulemaking advisory committee hearing in January. All members are encouraged, board or public, are welcome to come speak on any of the proposals. The division anticipates and invites that feedback on any proposals and ideas for the commercial reach code. That's why the rulemaking advisory committee exists. So that is the place to be for all discussion towards any proposals for the commercial reach code. So yes, please, we will send those invites out and please join.
So there will not be a formal technical review committee like there was for the Oregon Structural Specialty Code, for example.
No, there will not be.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Hands? No other questions? Does anyone on the board have an announcement they'd like to make at this time as we move rapidly to adjournment? Anyone? Anyone? I would like to, kind of a personal note, address Mark and his magnificent IT setup that he has, the bass that comes through, the reverberation is just, I'm wondering, are there going to be some building code presentations via TikTok or YouTube very soon? Your studio setup is just phenomenal, Mark. I bet you we would get some we would be touching people quite a bit out there if we could get you on YouTube or TikTok or, X. Yeah, right. Blake's going to say, yeah, right on. He's going to chime in too.
Check out my videos on YouTube for commercial code application and the residential code. You can find it.
Blake, you got something?
Oh, I was just trying to do the round of applause on using the Zoom meeting feature for that.
Yeah.
Chair Hansen, I will give a big shout out to our staff, especially Francisco Ramos, who has made sure that we get really quality equipment, good headphones, good microphones. So
you have really good quality equipment. That's fantastic. All right. So unless somebody wants to stop me, being no further business, the October 15th, 2024 Construction Industry Energy Board meeting is adjourned. 9:55 would be the exact time. So says my computer. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.